All right, we're live. Who's here? Nobody. Me. All right.
Yeah, I'm
So
here, Shady.
there you are. Hey, Moss. Okay.
Hello,
So
Shady.
hey. Um.
It's daytime.
Yes. Here it is. Um. So yeah. Uh.
Oh, you've got a rug.
I've got a
I mean,
rug.
on the floor. On the floor. I never noticed it before.
Uh. Is it a rug? Or where are you looking? I don't have a rug. Or
Oh, it's a
what looks.
carpet. All right.
Okay. I mean, yeah. My living room is carpet, and then yeah.
Yeah, these are things we don't notice because of the night lighting. So
Yeah. Um.
don't worry, I wasn't talking about your hair. I was talking about the floor.
Uh huh.
What?
Yeah.
So yeah, so what am I playing today? I've been saying I want to do just I mean, I know that the way the sub hangouts generally work is you guys get, you know, talking about whatever you want, and I love it, it's great. But then what that means is that the game kind of becomes more of a background. And so that's why like in the past I've played like Talos Principle and stuff, because it's stuff that can just be like motion while we're hanging out. So um I've got games that I could do that I need achievements in that I can pull up just to play in the background. I didn't have it set up to actually be able to screenshot the library very easily. But I did list some out in the supporter thread in the Discord. I guess I could just start with that game that you guys called dull, but I'm almost done with it.
Well, Kairo.
Kairo, yeah, I got very little left. I was kind of like on the fence of whether I should power through and finish it last time, and I decided that I could just, you know, maybe if the beginning had low turnout, I could just pull that up while people show up, or maybe it's a reason for people not to show up. I guess I can just start with that one.
Might as well.
Yeah.
Just knock it
Okay.
out.
Almost
Yeah,
done with it. I don't have to like retrain.
I hope we get Matthew in the subscriber chat this time, since he's now a supporter. I want to hear more of his stories.
Yeah, it looks like he hasn't connected his account because he's not in the thread. But he could if he just connected his account. All right, where's my...
We got, I think, 18 people in the supporter group now, so it's pretty decent.
That's pretty good, yeah.
I just wonder how many of them are gifts subs now, because those will probably expire.
Let me take a look, see what names I recognize.
Ganshi's definitely a long-term subscriber, as is Longfoot. I can't remember if Space Shuttle normally subscribes or whether he got it.
I think so. I think the only one in question that I see here is Dream.
Yeah.
I think the others are supporters.
Oh, yeah.
Now, unfortunately, when I pull this game up, I may have stupidly deleted the image on OBS, so I might have to set that up again. Does that show up? No. What am I doing?
Oh, hello, Outrun.
Hey, Outrun.
Hello, hello.
Yeah, it doesn't show. I gotta set this up again. All right, that's too loud. I know.
Oh my god, Shady, it's so loud.
Yeah, it is a bit.
What the? No. You to go to Mixer. That's the one. I think he has to go down to about 35. I think it's the number. Let's see how that is. How's that? Is that too loud still?
Yeah.
Well-
It's quite loud, yeah.
Well, wait for the actual game. Sometimes the intro thing is. It seems like a quite variable volume here. Let's see.
Oh, where's Joey gone? He got down off his pedestal.
I don't know.
Maybe what you should do is just be like, there's this guy who sends in video comments to the Lotus Eaters podcast, and he's got a camera for him, and then he's got a camera on his dog, and everybody seems to really like it. Get a Joey cam.
I mean, Joey's why we show up anyway.
Yeah.
Shady's just kind of like the extra little bonus there.
I'm the sidekick.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, really, it's Joey, the Texas flag, and then Shady.
All right. So I've slipped down a ranking since I put that up. I guess I've had that up there.
Sorry, go on.
Oh, I was just saying. I think it may have been a year since I put that up. I guess I would know. I can just look in the archive. Oh, there's Joey.
Oh, there we go.
is.
Hi, Joey.
All right.
He has no idea who any of us are.
Joey.
Well,
He's not
well
listening
Shady
to
also
me
has
either.
headphones on, so it's not going to carry anymore.
Yeah.
So
He's probably not even going to think if he heard voices anyway about it. But yeah, I was just going to say I'd love to be in Texas right now just because then I might be able to go to a restaurant. But anyway, moving on.
I mean,
Are you guys still shut down?
No,
Everyone
we're not
else-
shut down.
you're
yeah.
just segregated.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. This is going on YouTube, isn't it, Shady? So yeah, I probably shouldn't talk about that. Lest you get red flagged or whatever.
So that's still. See, that seems low in volume. But then the last scene seemed high, so.
Yeah. Now it's like swelling. Maybe this game just has strange dynamics.
All right. So should I turn it down a little more? Or.
What do you think, Moss? I think it's okay.
Yeah, it seemed okay. Yeah.
It's
Okay.
like, yeah, hitting right in the middle between the really quiet music and the really loud points, so.
All
Sounds
right,
good to
so
me.
now I can full screen this and actually see what I'm doing. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Not much left. I think.
So you're looking for a symbol?
Yeah,
Nice
so the garden vision puzzle might have to look some of this up. I remember Set talked last time, should we do like a hot cold on it? I don't know if that might be too much for this one, maybe the next one. Kind of want to knock this one out quickly, but I think the thing I looked up last time said that the answer is actually in the second building. There are 3 main buildings, and they each have a vision puzzle, and I solved the vision puzzle in the first 2, but apparently the answer, the reason, what makes the vision puzzles hard, well, there are different things that make each one hard. The one in here, for those who weren't there, it was completely ridiculous. It was
Yeah.
the constellation
This is the-
drawing thing.
With the chimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But So this one actually doesn't sound so bad. Oh, how many? Oh, we got 5 things growing out of there. There are 7. That's a septagon, right? Or is it a heptagon? It's a heptagon, right? It's an H.
Hept is 5, right?
Did you
No,
end up getting that Stanley?
Pentagon is 5.
Oh, I'm dumb. Yeah, no. Yeah, you're good. Ah,
Did you end up
Need more
getting that
beer.
Stanley Parable achievement for the 5 years?
I did pick that one up. Yeah. I still don't have the. I still don't have the 24-hour Tuesday one. And sometime I want to. I need to remember where the exit is on this. Or actually, you press R. Oh, look at me. It's not an achievement, but there's something in Stanley Parable where the narrator says you need to play the baby game for 4 hours. And so, like, usually you fail the game and just see the scene that comes after that. But there actually is a different ending if you sit there and press the button for 4 hours. And I've never seen it. I could look it up on YouTube, but that's boring. I kind of want to sit there or actually set up an auto clicker. Because that's all that would be required. I want to set up an auto clicker to click that button for 4 hours. But I don't know the right context how to set that up, because you don't want to watch me press the button for 4 hours, but I want to do it myself.
Why we're not watching the Olympics?
I keep forgetting that's going on. China is ho.
I barely know that it's happening.
I usually
why-
love the Winter Olympics, but Beijing, man.
China is ho.
What was
Yeah, so
the-
it's-
Sorry, go on.
I don't remember. Go ahead.
We're talking over each other now. Sorry.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
Usually
I
when
was
there's just
just-
3 of us, it's like just you, Moss.
I was gonna say, wasn't it last year China decided that they had more medals than the US because they just added Taiwan's medal count to their own?
I wouldn't doubt it.
I wouldn't doubt it either.
Yeah, that was funny. Thanks, Super Gamer. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really interested in watching sport. I'm into.
I used to love sports,
Yeah.
and I can't bring myself to do it anymore.
Not even
the trackers
basketball?
are more interesting. Yeah.
I used to. I mean, my sport of preference actually now would be baseball, but do I have to go to the ground floor to get where I'm trying to go? So which achievements am I still missing? The garden vision puzzle. It's 3 achievements. Right there. Garden vision
You missing
puzzle,
any
final seal.
symbols?
No, I got all those.
All right. That's good.
Yeah, the 18. So yeah, this is almost done. And I could look it up. I could look up either the code or I could look up the code itself or just, you know, which room to look up the code in. I'm gonna try to find the code myself. They said it was in the second building. I'm like, I'll try to find the code in the second building. I'll take that hint. I don't fully remember how. I always forget how these Kairo buildings are laid out.
I don't know why they put that noise effect, film grain effect over the top. It just... There must be a reason, but I'm not quite sure why.
I guess you find it more distracting than I do. I don't notice it until you point it out, but yeah, it's definitely there.
It just sort of seems like the sort of thing Ross Scott would complain about.
Yeah, you said
He's
that last
always
time,
complained
yeah.
Bloom effects and making things overly brown and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I saw... Was it a Deus Ex game that he's talked about on that?
Yeah, I think so.
I just
There was also,
saw one of those the other day. I'm years behind Game Dungeon.
You're
Also
lucky. I've watched most of them several times now, so
Yeah.
it's the best series on YouTube. No offense
Yeah.
to you, Shady.
No.
It's
I'm
the
not.
best.
Well, see, I I like Freeman's Mind better, but yeah, no. No, I don't compare to Ross. Stop doing it. Anyone who does, stop doing it.
Yeah, you don't have the body hair to compare to Ross.
That's true.
Yeah. I know Freeman's Mind's okay, but Game Dungeon, just because if you're someone who really likes games, which I know you are as well, obviously, but it's just nice having people just looking back on them and as
Yeah.
retrospectives with on television you would have seen for everything but games. But now we got retrospectives for games, and they're good retrospectives.
Oh yeah, no, it's excellent. No, I love the Game Dungeon.
Yeah.
I am not actually as much of a gaming enthusiast. Like I'm more like when I find a game I really like, I play it way too much. So I haven't played as many games. Right? I think most people kind of play a game, get to the end, kind of get their impression and move on. I'm more like I always get lost. Have I been here already? Oh, this is the
Yep, you
this is the way
have,
backward.
yeah.
This is the way backwards.
Glad someone's paying attention.
Where's the annoying room?
But with all the times,
Yeah, I think it's in here.
didn't you just walk through it?
I went in
I
here,
do
but
like
then I turned it back. I haven't been here today.
I do like the 90s style sound effects and music. It does sound like a 90s game. I do like that aspect of it.
Oh yeah, I should put I didn't. Yeah. All right, it's a little late, but I'll update the game and the stream info. All right, regular reminder, sub chat is open. If you're subscribed to the channel and you've hooked up your Discord account, you can hop in the voice chat.
I like Ross Scott's done some other good videos, like the Dead Game News stuff was quite interesting as well. Hello, Super Gamer.
Welcome to the fun.
Oh, you're not coming through like you have in the past. I think I just heard you try to talk.
Is that better?
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
I've recently had to adjust the sound settings for Discord, mainly with the changing the input from voice activity to push to talk.
Oh, you're gonna do push to talk. Okay, I think I want to go this way.
The reason is that the pair of headphones I'm using has recently started developing an issue where any audio that's playing through the headphones can start bleeding over into the sound input.
Yeah, I got new headphones. These are new headphones. And I knew that the ear pads had worn out so badly.
Just a second and say that this pipe really does remind me of the interiors of some of the pipes that you crawl through in the first Half-Life game.
Oh, okay.
Sure. Yeah, you got to say it while it's here. Yeah. As I said, oh yeah, the ear pads on this have worn out so much. I didn't realize how badly they had worn out until I got these replacements. Because yeah, Lauren was telling me that my game sound was bleeding through into the mic, and so yeah, I picked these up, and now it feels like I'm underwater again. The way the headphones kind of blot out the external sound. So it's
Yeah,
great.
Like
only
a
really-
sensory deprivation room.
Yeah.
We only know about Half-Life through Freeman's Mind, don't we, really, Shady? That's the same for you, isn't it?
So have you played
I
Half-Life?
played through the entire Half-Life series like several times at least.
Oh, I see. Sorry, I'm parsing your sentence wrong, Moss.
Yeah. So
You only know it
from Freeman's
because
Mind.
from Freeman's Mind. Correct.
Or because of Freeman's Mind, yeah.
Yeah.
Alright.
Oh, I want to play it, but
I've also really enjoyed playing through Black Mesa.
yeah.
Is
Okay,
that
so-
a spin-off?
It's a fan remake of the original Half-Life with modern
Oh,
graphics.
okay.
So it's gonna be
It's
on
by
one
a
of these
group called the
pictures.
Crowbar Collective, I think.
So is that a bag or is that a growth out his side? I think that was.
I
the
think it's a
question
growth.
Shady had.
He stuffed his growth in that bag. It's his lymphedema bag.
It's a holy. What's the name bag? You rub it for good luck.
You rub
And then
Buddha's
maybe, just
lymphedema for
maybe,
good luck.
Maybe, just maybe, the checks and balances will work. But never mind. Anyway, yeah, Ross Scott, good guy. He might still be streaming. He was. I did see he was doing a monthly video chat with fans this morning.
Yeah?
Or
Yeah,
hours
unfortunately, yeah. It wouldn't be a good idea for me to actually try to overlap his time. What the heck? I thought it would be on one of these pictures. They said it was on one of these pictures. This is just Logic Gate shit. It's not here.
I can't even remember how to read logic gates anymore. I did do them, but it's been such a long time.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I admit that was something that I wasn't really taught in computer science, in my computer science program either.
Yeah, I don't know the shapes. I remember Island of Dr. Brain had some Logic Gates puzzles that were hard. Well, I found them hard.
You targeted at children as well?
I mean, there's expert level.
Oh, okay. No, because I'm wondering, if it was, maybe if they made it too hard for children, even though that was their target audience. I mean,
We
stuff
can look at
like,
that after this.
Yeah, Pajama Sam or whatever it is.
Alright, if I've scanned the building and I still don't see it, I might just look up where to look.
So Voodoo graphics cards, Outrun's talking about them. Is Voodoo the name of the card or the manufacturer? I can't remember.
Don't ask me questions like this.
Maybe Outrun can answer. Because there's Matrox as well. There was Matrox. I think they were a manufacturer. I don't think they made Voodoo's though.
What? Alright, so I didn't see it, so I'm gonna have to...
Yeah, I'm only really familiar with ATI or AMD and NVIDIA. So, yeah. Did you have a graphics card in the late 90s, Shady?
No, I tried to wing it with...
Software mode.
Yeah. I was a kid. I didn't really have control over the purse
Yeah.
strings.
Did you play King's Quest 8 at the time, or did you not play it until later?
I've never played it. I still haven't played it.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I'm highly reluctant to. I feel like because like that came out at the same time as Half-Life and really like represented a fundamental paradigm shift in gaming, didn't it?
Yeah, it looked much
that was-
worse than Half-Life as well.
That was my understanding, that adventure games, their heyday was the mid 90s, and like King's
Yeah.
Quest was one of the most prominent series, and that came out the exact same time as Half-Life, and it just all of a sudden, like, all the sales went, they moved over there. It's like, okay, this is the new era of gaming, and it was a huge disaster.
Blowing holes in things. Yeah.
I mean, not Half-Life itself. Like, I'm not saying Half-Life is
Yeah.
bad, but you know, I mean, to say that adventure games, it was a disaster for adventure games. What I call adventure game. I mean, people even use the word adventure game to mean something different now. I mean,
Yeah,
to me, an adventure game
platformers.
was yeah, and to me, an adventure game it's a story game, because that's what the
Story
term
with,
was.
like, puzzle elements and yeah.
Yeah, and it,
I'd
you know,
say
often
exploration and
inventory,
puzzle
but
elements,
missed.
Yeah.
Yeah, often there would be inventory, but it didn't have to, like, missed.
I also do feel like adventure games do have to have an element of appealing to the player's desire to explore a completely new world. Like they have to scratch that itch.
Yeah, I
All right.
mean, yeah, that was the discussion I had with Shady about whether the Seventh Guest, not a comment on its quality or anything, but whether it's an adventure game or a puzzle game, because most of the exploration just revolved around walking from puzzle to puzzle. There was no integration into the environments. It was just a screen is a puzzle, as opposed to, you know, something like Channelwood where the puzzle is integrated over the whole environment.
So is the stream audio or stream video frozen for anyone else?
I'm pausing it. Watch me. If I'm moving, then there's nothing wrong with the screen, with the stream.
Yeah, the audio, I've muted the audio, so...
But, well, I meant the game video.
Yeah, because I have to look it up. I'm looking up what to do here.
I've heard people refer to platformers as adventure games. I don't know how they made that leap.
They're just illiterate.
I mean, I had a friend who thought Donkey Kong was an adventure game, and he was a big King's Quest fan as well, so I don't know why he said that.
Then there's just calling everything that. You might as well might as well be a synonym for computer games at that, or video games at that point. Yeah, this is.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm just gonna look up where to go to find it, because I thought I explored everything, and you saw I was looking at some pictures on the walls. I didn't see any of those. So, okay, the blue tower. Oh wait, no, sorry. What is the Rub Hub?
I think I've been there. Yeah, Matthew there. Is that actually supposed to be a place in the game?
Yeah, the Rub Hub. Yeah, it's telling me to go to the Rub Hub.
Yeah. Oh,
So there's the
viewers,
Red
alright.
Hub.
Yeah. Is the stream gonna get flagged now? Rub Hub
Percent.
sounds a little
Yep.
I think as long as we're not providing so-called misinformation, it's fine. We can talk about Rub Hubs and things associated with Rub
When I
Hubs.
get to the Rub Hub, we'll see if you think that's an appropriate name for it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's that center room?
You still there, Outrun? You seem to have gone.
Sometimes people just see the notification and then they're like, I'll go about my day.
Yeah.
Still in the chat.
Yeah. Asked him about voodoo cards, and yeah, he's being quiet, so.
So I'm gonna try this again.
So what's the situation, Outrun? Is Voodoo the manufacturer, or is it the card itself, the product?
This is a really long elevator ride. It's very frustrating. It takes too long. There's nothing to see here.
Push it up to ludicrous speed.
Yeah, I like how
3DFX, yeah. Thanks, Outrun.
okay, so this is the
So,
red
what were you saying, Shady?
This is the red hub or the rub hub?
Autocorrect.
No, it mentions both. You can look it up yourself on GameFAQs, the Kairo guide. They've got the red hub and the rub hub.
Alright. Game fact hunt.
Okay, so this goes... Okay, so... Hold on. Let me look at the... Let me pull... Scroll up on the guide here.
That is a lot of film grain.
Believe it or
I
not.
agree. Film grain is a bit intense.
Like when you see a still shot from a film from a Blu-ray release.
Fortunately, it's
recognize
not the
the film
stream.
frame when you're
The
watching
game
the
does...
film?
Yeah. The
Yeah.
game does look like that, yeah. Believe it or not, the tower actually has... Yeah. The red hub. Believe it or not, but the tower actually has 2 hub areas. 2! That's how the guide starts, yeah.
They segregated hubs or something.
Oh, is it the upper? Is that just what they call the upper floor of this room when you're... Is this like the red hub and then the rub hub is the one up the stairs? Because I can go up there. But let's see here. Okay, so it says the green corridor, which is this one. Yeah, that's the green corridor. Yeah, what I was going to say was, I like how the Talos Principle has a fast forward button. So, like, if I'm walking down a long passageway, I can just... Oh, now... Here's some
Could this game
hexagons.
just have a run feature? That would probably solve it.
You might go a little faster with shift. Oh, you can do both. You can both fast forward and sprint.
It'd be a bit like Legacy of Time with the turbo button, where your footsteps become really high pitched.
Yeah, I think you do become a little faster in this game. Okay. Well, here's some hexagonal patterns on the floor, but this is what they call the dead red garden because
There's not much gardening here.
well, you can see the dead garden there. Okay.
Yeah, it's a
So
really
that's actually-
bad allotment. Yeah.
Okay. And they say, oh, no. This is still the red hub. This is the upper floor of the red hub.
I'm still trying to think what color rub is.
Well, we'll see, I guess.
It's a whole new color we've never seen before. Wouldn't that be weird if one day we saw a color that we'd never seen before on a completely different part of the spectrum? That would be weird.
Have you heard of I forget the word, but something like, I know the word cones, like you have like cones in your eye or something that where you can see color.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah,
typically have 3.
Yeah.
So like it's a very, very rare condition, but some people have 4.
Wow.
And it's, how colorblindness is more common in men.
Yeah.
Well, the 4 cone combination, apparently genetically it's shown that the only people who could ever have this condition are all women. Where you have the 4 cones and they can see colors no one else can see.
And then there's birds as well. I mean, birds as in birds, not birds as in women. How they can see 3 different types of green. So they see green as 3 separate colors. That might extend to dinosaurs as well. Because birds are dinosaurs, so.
Sure.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what birds see. Although, yeah, birds have, I think, slightly better eyes than us. They can see more colors, and they also see it at the world at a higher frequency, to the point that if they watch a film, it looks like a slideshow. So good thing for the AI video frame interpolation, interpolation, or whatever it's called.
Is this guy just an
birds can
idiot? Is he
finally watch
calling?
films.
Is he just calling the red hub the rub hub sometimes?
That'd be really funny. Maybe try and follow those instructions in the.
Yeah, I'm gonna
red
go right
hub.
back. Yeah,
That's
I'm
the
going
rub
right back.
hub.
I'm going right back. This is the red hub, and they're like, oh, you go through the green cube corridor. Yeah, it's a case of dropping down and moving to the other side of the room to find the door back to the hub. Now it calls it the rub hub. What the heck? Okay,
Could always
so
check check a different site.
yeah, I could also I wanted to see where the code was because I wanted to understand it. I could also just look up the code. I wanted to at least see it. It sounded like they were saying it's in here.
I'm not sure I get the reference outruns. Well, what Ainsley Harriott, he's the TV chef, right? What's he know about Rob? Has he had some sort of scandal or something? I only really know him because he appeared on Red Dwarf twice, so.
This looks like a rub hub, by the way. Yeah, it says one of the pictures on the wall. There's no pictures on the wall, you idiot.
A different guide, maybe, so.
Okay. That one just tells you the code without telling you where to find it.
They're coming up to 5 p.m. for you, Shady?
Yeah.
Alright. Coming up to 7 a.m. for me. Ainsley Harriott. I've never really... I don't think I ever saw his cooking show, so... But alright. Yeah.
I can't find a different guide. What the heck?
You're stuck with the rub hub.
Yeah, I'm not moving in the game right now. I'm tabbed out.
No, but you're stuck with that guide where He talks about the Grubhub.
Yeah, I mean, again, I can just look up the code, but I wanted to know where the actual clue was. Steam community, a complete guide to Kairo, and I don't know about that. Let's see. The solution is marked in the upper tower hub, which that makes sense. That would be this location as well. I mean, I don't see, unless it's up there. If you go to the upper floor, maybe? Let's look at the upper floor. There are a couple of pictures up there. I didn't look at it because I was like, that's not the rub hub, that's the red hub. So actually, it probably is there. Yeah, this is it here. What was I going to look at? I was going to look at this. Okay, it's not here. See, I saw this picture. Is it in the corner or something? Oh, wait, that tiny thing right there. Wow. That's it.
Yes.
Wait, did he solve a thing? I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, look at it. Look at it right there.
I feel like I should recognize the puzzle or the game or the puzzle that's being played on the table.
All right,
but I don't.
I'm putting that screenshot in the chat there. Okay, that's what it is. Tricky. Let's go. Quickest way back would be this way. Yeah, see, that feels better to actually see that as opposed to just putting it in. I don't know. All the guys were just like, you could look it up, but I'll just tell you the solution. Like, what that? What? That
And the one guy who will tell you how to find the code calls the red hub the rub hub.
The rub hub. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit hard to say.
You got to make up a tongue twister using rub hub.
Rub hub. Hubbub.
Hubbub, yeah.
Rub hub hubbub.
Rubber baby buggy bumper, yeah. Or purple burglar alarm.
Papa burglar alarm.
I don't know if you've heard of that one. Apparently, at least the joke is that the Scots can't say it. I don't know.
Very hard to take Count Dankula seriously when he's doing a news article. He says, "There's been a murder."
I mean, I get Americans have a hard time understanding the Scottish accent when it's thick enough, but I don't think it's entirely on me. I think that guy does not articulate his syllables. It's not just a thick accent. Some people slur their speech, and other people speak syllables.
Funny, because I have no trouble understanding him, and I've never been to Scotland.
Yeah, because your accent's closer.
I'd still say I'm able to understand him better than I am like deep Bayou South. That can be real tough.
Yeah. The garden is always kind of intimidating. I don't always remember where I'm going. Let's try this one. I think it's the triangle. I think it's here.
Yeah, this is a strange game.
It is.
How old is this game?
Not sure.
So yes, like I had mentioned before, I do believe this game does.
I don't know how to navigate. I don't know how to navigate Steam. It should just be like store page. Oh, there it is. There's a button instead of a tab. Okay. 2013.
All right. So it's 9 years old nearly, so.
I feel a little
doesn't
bit
look
better
right.
knowing I'm not the only one who has difficulties navigating Steam UI.
I barely know Steam. I think I've got 2 games on Steam and about 100, 200 on GOG, so.
Yeah, I'm the opposite.
I tell you, one game I think the game I've spent the most time with on Steam is a Euro Truck Simulator. I need to play that again.
I like how you follow that up. The most time I've spent on a game is this. I need to play it again.
On Steam.
Usually people say I need to cut back. You're like, I haven't played it enough.
Hey Matthew, why don't you come on the subscriber chat? You're a subscriber now. You should come in the voice chat and tell us some stories.
You have to hook up. If you hook up your Discord account, you can speak words to us.
Because yeah, that story about you going to the strip club was a riot. It was it was genuinely funny. I went on holiday, then I got back. All right, April 2019. All right. In Euro Truck Simulator, no, it's all Europe. There's American Truck Simulator, but I think that covers California, New Mexico.
They were already shut down in January?
Arizona, Texas, I think, yeah. I think the dancers might have just been scared. Or no, or maybe they thought, yeah, is this dancing around naked for men? Is this really what I want to do with my life? I'm going to go out there and work for a pharmaceutical company. That's where it's at. Sorry, I'll stop.
I gotta look this up.
All right.
The large black.
So yeah, things didn't really start shutting down in my area until like about a couple months later, about March of 2020.
Yeah,
But
typically it was March. Yeah, everybody shut down in March.
Yeah, I remember that.
Well,
It wasn't because of COVID. Why weren't the strippers there, Matthew? Did you ever figure out why?
Honk for freedom.
Worst
Dog wants
strip
to go
club
back.
ever. Yeah. I hope the Euro Truck people jump on that. That'll be interesting. I mean, you wouldn't even have to create a small area. You just need to create downtown Ottawa. And you wouldn't have to even have any driving physics. You just have a camera looking out the side because it wouldn't be possible to move. Probably wouldn't even have to model all of Ottawa. You just have to model a street. And then you can just simulate sitting in a car honking.
Okay, it says the same thing again. It's straight from the white room. Below the large black cube in the white room.
It was an extremely small club. Yeah, there was one stripper pole, and they also had a vending machine. No bar, just a vending machine.
No strippers. The poles are yours.
I remember Peter Cook. I heard him talking about, I think it was Soho in London, where you could go these places and they'd say like, "Oh, I want to see some naked ladies," and you go in and they make you pay a huge amount of money, and then you get expensive wine. They make you pay for that. You drink that. There'd be a curtain and there'd be people moving furniture, but you wouldn't actually get to see anything.
I missed. So they'd get you really drunk and then what?
Well, no, they tell you you can go to this place and see naked ladies, and they'll make you spend lots of money on expensive booze, and then just nothing happens.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say it would be like, you know, obese 50-year-old women, or something like that.
No, yeah.
I remember this room now. Duh. Okay. Yeah, the Blue Tower.
Old woman was a bartender, younger woman was the only dancer there. And yeah, she was just doing ballet. She wasn't even stripping. You know.
Tap dancing.
Yeah. Yeah, where is Trudeau? That's a good question, Outrun. Has anyone actually figured out where he is?
He's hiding from the people who are holding unacceptable views. What a phrase.
I thought Trudeau was a man of the people. Now the people have spoken.
Well,
He's
what he
saying,
always
"Oh,
did. You know
well,
how
yeah."
propaganda works. You say, Canadians believe, and then you just state your own opinion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hello, Sarah.
Australians love shady paradox, which is the reason I'm the only one.
Hi ho. Oh, okay, so here we go.
Hello,
Which way
Sarah.
is... Okay, here it is. All right. Let me put this over here.
It does look like I think it's a little bigger though. The puzzle, the bridge puzzle in Armateria.
Another question: did we ever figure out what the deal with the with the room with the musical pads was?
Yes.
Oh,
Which game was that?
That was this is Vision Puzzle 3, that was Vision Puzzle 1. And I have 1 and 2 done, yes.
Yeah, third one's often the
I'm
worst,
actually not
I
too far
find.
away from the solution to that if you want to see it. I actually walked right by it just now. So, let's match this up. Let's see here. What?
Still remember when Trudeau
Okay.
was first running for Prime Minister? The clips they showed with him was him doing pratfalls on news programs, and I was just thinking, I don't know someone who does pratfalls as someone you want to lead your country. Turns out I was right. He hasn't done any pratfalls since, though, I don't think.
Ta-da!
I was actually really surprised.
look where
to
we
see
ended
that
up.
Justin Trudeau has a tattoo.
Oh, I can't move. But yeah, this is my reward.
A desert. Oh,
Yep.
so
Also the achievement, but yes.
so is this the ending?
No. I already reached the ending last time. This is the extra stuff. Oh, my eye is closing forever. Joey, what the... Stop it.
this is why we need a Joey cam.
Well, he's in my lap. Is that what you want to see?
I'm good. I mean, if you want it, boss, go for it. But
It would technically be a
oh, hey Sarah.
flat cam.
Well, having a lap cam wouldn't be that out of place on Twitch, really.
All right. So that's.
That is true, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was gonna show you this. Let's see. I think it's back this way. All right, so I got 2 achievements left.
Are you Canadian?
So Ocean Drainer's gone and disappeared again. He's Canadian.
Oh, we do
Double
have
Q
a
seems to
Canadian
have
friend now.
disappeared. Double Q seems
Okay.
to have disappeared permanently. Was also
Who's
Canadian.
disappeared permanently?
Double Q, remember Double Q?
I remember Q.
Yeah.
I don't.
For a long time, I didn't think we had any Canadian friends, but I guess we have had a couple around.
So
You're gonna come on the sub chat Dream Prism? It's open.
yeah, I think I think Dream Prism is the receiver.
Not a real
of gifts-
person.
Is a receiver of gift subs.
Yeah. No, we know Dream Prism's not a real person. Yeah, it's cool. We know he's a real person. Yeah.
That's always that's the kind of that whole not
Viewership we
actually
want,
people.
yeah.
That's Trudeau like rhetoric there. Dissidents aren't really people, right?
Oh.
I mean, he hasn't said
Yeah.
that, but usually that kind of stuff ends up in that territory.
It's a very slippery slope when you start claiming people aren't human. Just acknowledge everyone who is human is human. Don't. Go
Well, I mean, that's kind of the
down
thing.
that
Like,
path
it,
and
it
say,
it's always
"This
it's
is
always
not really human.
it's always a That's just one part of the slope, though, right? Because I mean, like, you said like you can't participate in society, right? Like, that happens
Yeah.
first. Right, you take all the
Yeah.
rights away, and then you just kind of other them to the point where they stop looking like people, because people do people things, and you're not doing people things. So,
Well, I'll just keep resisting. I think that's all I can do.
Be the change you want to see in the world.
Yeah, unfortunately I can't drive, so I can't blockade anything. I really should have got a license. However,
If you ever
many
do get a
years
license to
ago-
blockade something, I'll be looking for that news story and your subsequent arrest warrant.
Well, yeah, no. Yeah, I regret not learning how to drive. Well, getting my driver's license however many years ago, because now I can't go a block a road in the capital city. What was I doing with my life?
Oh, you crack me up, Mods.
Thank you. Why are you seeding all these torrents, Matthew? Lighthouse and Mask of Eternity are all available on GOG. Rama is pretty easy to get.
I didn't see Rama on there. Maybe I just missed it.
It's probably isn't just because it's a licensing thing, because it's based on the book by Arthur C. Clarke. You're 32. Who was the one who was in his 40s, JD? Or it was about 50 or something. We had one subscriber who was in his 50s. I'm trying to think who that was.
I don't know, but you're all gonna be hitting your 50s at some point. Isn't that gonna be great when I'm 60 and you're all in your 50s? We're nothing will change. We'll keep doing this.
Yeah.
Why not? This will be
Yeah,
the
I'll-
new old people activity, like bridge.
I still won't be able to go to restaurants.
All the kids will be in the all the kids will be in the metaverse, and we'll just be doing 2D,
Ugh.
like an
Oh,
old person.
humanity.
Not if I
need to
die.
do
It's like a competition.
Oh god. It's entirely realistic. I
I'll
do fall
show
off the mountain
you
someday, though.
anything to not participate for that long. Now I can't find it. I don't need to find it. Found it last time. Huh. Oh well.
You know what I think is especially interesting is I don't want to dwell on this topic too long because it's quite a depressing thing, but the premier who's obviously made all these decisions, you know, with like the vaccination passports and stuff, I believe his background is as a naval lawyer, which I believe is the exact same background as Ron DeSantis. It's kind of weird they come from the same background, they've taken two completely different paths.
Well, yeah, you can actually have very similar assumptions and still reach opposite conclusions about the world if there's just one minor difference. That's kind of one thing that I've learned kind of studying all this stuff.
Yeah.
So as weird as it is, it's also not that weird.
Yeah, I kind of wish
here it is.
DeSantis
This
was
is
our
it.
premier though.
This is what I was looking for. So this is for Super Gamer. It's playing the sounds in the code in that music room. Super Gamer is not even here anymore.
I'm here. I'm just don't
Okay.
get what you're talking about.
You said the music room. Or can you hear the game?
I can hear the game, but being doesn't really seem to match up to that.
Do you hear those sounds?
I hear it. I was talking about like a room with an array of 3x3 square pads that you could walk on.
Yeah, it was 5x5, I think. And you'd step on them, and they'd play musical notes, right?
Yes.
Do you hear the musical
That's
notes
not
here?
what's going up. Like, I hear them, but that's not what's showing up on the screen. You're standing by some kind of bubble. It's in the stream video, in the game video.
Does anyone else hear the musical notes?
Yeah,
Yes.
I hear.
Those are the notes
Along
that you
the block.
press.
Was that get that one achievement?
Oh, so this
It's a-
place has no cat room.
Yeah, they're very. This is building 3, and that room with the buttons is in building 1. So it's kind of far apart, but yeah, it just repeats a 5-note sequence. And I put that in, and that was right.
Reminds me of that one crazy puzzle from The Witness.
Which one?
Like The Witness's
so
ultimate
many.
puzzle.
But thanks
The
for
one in the
clearing that up.
ship that like
Oh,
you need to
that-
listen to the
that
drift
sound.
bar.
Ugh. Yeah, but that
Yeah.
one had way more interpretation of what
Yeah, that
color
one was like
meant
a whole
which
nother
sound.
level.
Yeah.
And you solved that one without any hints, right?
I know I solved it eventually. I may have taken a hint. I tried to have some. I wanted to solve at least partially. I think I had, because part of the thing was, obviously the sounds loop, but you have to draw a line based on a specific part of the loop, and so it's very ambiguous how everything fits together.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think I kind of iterated, like, it could be like this, it could be like this, it could be like this, and I had 5 different ideas, and one of them worked or something like that. So it was, but I think I was told at least like what one of the sounds represented or something like that. I'm pretty sure I was told at least something to help narrow it down.
Oh, okay. It's been so long ago, I don't really remember.
Yeah. Video's
Is-
still up
are
though.
These chimes are only part of the puzzle. Is that the one where it's segmented, so you only get some of the chimes?
No, it plays all 5.
Okay. All right.
So that was the one room that I solved on my own. I had to look up hints for the other 2. Now I got one more thing. Now, what's interesting, there's another room here in the garden. I guess we can just go there next. See where it is. Yeah, way over there. You see that room back there? Let's go over there. I don't know what the stream delay is, so you're hearing me on Discord sooner than it shows up in the stream, probably.
Yeah.
The delay's at least several seconds.
Okay. So, this is what I think is called a heptagon. There are 7 sides to this. Well, I think the reason why Centennial got confused is because there's
My bad.
no, but really we throw these words out when we actually mean regular, like regular. It's not just a heptagon, it's a regular heptagon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually 2020. What time zone is that? Yeah, so you see it's missing one of these orbs above this side right here. I don't really know why there are 6 of them. I don't know what puts these here, but I now have 6. I actually started the stream with 5, so I just put one up.
Is it maybe for like each hidden achievement? So
Yeah, it could be. Yeah. So that's, whoops. So I'm gonna refresh this. Let's see. These are the 2 I have. Final seal unlocked and secret ending discovered. That's
Okay.
all I have left to do.
I'm willing to bet those 2 are tied.
Yeah.
And sorry if anyone can hear my dog. She found a squeaky.
Not at the moment.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so I'm thinking this is where the secret ending is. And so, because I did notice there were 5 of these at the start of the stream, and I think there were 4 before. And actually, I think that makes sense, right? Because I think it is like I completed the normal storyline, buildings 1, 2, and 3, and that put 3 of the orbs on. And then I did the vision puzzles, and those were 3 more. So now I have 6. So now I need to do the final seal, then come back here and get the secret ending. That's what it's sounding like. So this says the secret door. Finding the 3 doors. This is from the guide. Finding the 3 doors and breaking the 3 monoliths isn't quite the end of the story, though, as there's one more out there to find. After breaking the first 3, and only after that, so I just unlocked it, a final portal will open up back at the top of the tower. Oh, top of the tower. All of those words are capitalized.
Cube as in QUBE Outrun or a different Cube game?
I think, yeah.
I suppose a hexahedron
Let's go.
would be a cube.
Actually, let me go this way. Or, I don't know which way it is. It may be this way. And I just came from that way. Yeah, I played QUBE. I think Outrun, you mentioned another. Yeah, I think Outrun mentioned a different game called Cube, so.
Okay.
Yeah, I
thinking he
have
played
not
on
played a game
Thursday.
called Cube. Yeah.
Yeah. Dream Prism, do you think that Shady should play Life is Strange? I mean, not today, obviously, but in the future.
Should be back here.
Is that one of those walking simulators?
Not really.
Okay.
It's more of a,
Is there like some teen
I
pop
don't- it's
BS?
it's a cringe simulator, is how I describe it.
You say
don't
cringe?
Think you should? Yeah, cringe simulator.
It sounds like my nightmare.
I'm pretty sure the cringe is real. It's the only real part of it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like I said, the main character's best friend is the least likable person I've ever encountered in fiction. I mean, she legitimately is the sort of person you'd emigrate to avoid.
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna guess this is what the top of the tower is.
Very confusing which is the angle of up. Yeah. Is it just the one more puzzle?
I think so.
Alright. Then we can move on to a different game.
Mm-hmm.
It's pity we're probably the wrong time of day for Tom and Lauren. Because it'd be 11 o'clock at night, I think.
I think with
That's
Tom,
amazing.
it's more of a day of the week.
Pardon?
So have we decided what's being played next?
Nope.
Whatever
is this?
hasn't got achievements. Be nice to see something 2D again. Maybe that should be the next game you get achievements on. Day of the Tentacle or Grim Fandango's 3D. Maybe Day of the Tentacle, because it would just be nice to see something 2D again, because you haven't played anything 2D for a while, I don't think.
I don't
mean, there
remember.
was the
Well, there
mystery,
was
so, yeah.
what was it called? The one with the motorcycles.
Full
Are you
Throttle.
talking about Full
That-
Throttle?
Full Throttle. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
2D.
that was last year though.
Was it already that long ago?
Yeah,
It's like several months.
I didn't see that because
Which
being
one?
I was
I'm not
away,
listening. I'm
Full
reading the guide.
Throttle. Full Throttle.
Oh yeah, it was like August.
Yeah.
that sounds right.
I
That's
think
the
I
last
was
2D one I
away,
remember.
and I still haven't finished the game on my own. So, oh, Beneath a Steel Sky. I don't think Shady's played that, but I mean, in terms of stuff that he needs achievements on, I think it's Day of the Tentacle is one. Beneath a Steel Sky is good because it's free. I've actually got it for Amiga, I think. Except I think one of the discs was broken, so I couldn't get a full install. I was able to play the beginning at least. It's quite slow though on an Amiga 1200. Have you ever used an Amiga, Shady?
I mean, I've seen like video and stuff, but yeah, not myself.
Yeah.
Well, this is gonna take some time, so here's where you guys chat away while I read this guide and wander all over this world and go to do all the things. Okay.
Because there was a sequel, I think, came out to Beneath a Steel Sky last year, wasn't it? It was Beyond a Steel Sky. I don't know anything about it. Actually, wasn't the sidekick on Beneath a Steel Sky called Joey? I think he was, wasn't he? There was a robot sidekick called Joey. Who'd say the F word and things like that.
Oof, scandalous.
Yeah. Well, this was 1993. You weren't supposed to say the F word in games back then, so...
Oh yeah, it
Yeah, I'm
actually would have
surprised
been
that
then,
was
yeah.
allowed.
It was like pre-South Park, man. Well,
Yeah. When did South Park start? 1997?
something like that.
Yeah. Does it always what didn't they censor the swearing though? Because it was Comedy Channel that showed it in the US, and I think they tend to censor swearing.
For a while, they definitely couldn't say some things, but yeah.
I seem to remember it was censored when
The
it was on
Blue Altar
Australian
Room.
television,
Okay, what do I do
even
in here?
Even though it was past Watershed, it was 8:30 on Mondays. I think it used to be showing. I mean, it's still showing now. I don't know where, but I remember it would be SBS Mondays at 8:30. And yeah, compared to
That right there.
a lot of stuff they showed, I don't think South Park was that edgy. It was funny.
No. Right. Actually, one of the things I'm going to try and make is a little series about what South Park is really like, what it actually looks like, because kind of like the show, but also not at all.
Bit noisy, Shady.
Hey, that's more than the Simpsons kids.
You're complaining about the static?
Yeah, it's better now, thanks.
I mean, that was from the game.
Yeah. Yeah, don't they change it as well? They change when Homer and Marge were children. So it started out with them being like teenagers or young adults in the 60s, and then I think later ones they had them being like young adults in the 90s or something. So they kept moving for the years they were born or whatever.
Yeah, that's the one thing they have to do.
Any sort of continuity, your mind goes crazy.
Most of it is consistent. Most of the time in that show, they try to make everything consistent. The one thing is the time periods, yeah, because they have to keep everybody the same age throughout the ridiculously too many years that it's been around. Should have stopped after season 9.
Yeah, I mean it's a bit sad. Lisa can't be as smart as she thinks she is if she's failed grade 3. What is it, 30 times? I think by that point, school generally doesn't let you redo the year.
Yeah.
Funny thing about Ash Ketchum, Sarah, is I remember I was a big Pokemon fan when I was a kid, and I remember a short little special about Ash's birthday. So he should at least be 12, but they still refer to him as 11.
I do remember was it Herman? It was Herman Cain. I remember when he was running for president. I remember there was this time where he was giving this speech and he was like, "I'm down on the Pokemon speak," and then he ended up singing this song, which I think was from Pokemon.
Oh yeah, he ended up quoting, I think, the Pokemon theme song just as part of his speech or something. Yeah, that was funny.
I just remember thinking this was 2008. No,
I think that's
2012.
right.
2012, I think it was running it was after Obama had been president for one term. I was just thinking I don't think Pokemon's been big for it's been big for a decade by this point. So I think he was trying to be hip, but he just didn't realize that it wasn't that big a thing anymore. I don't know.
Oh, Herman Cain. Rip.
Oh, is it this? Is that the secret? I've always been... This room here has had this weird room that I had always been confused about. I think it's right here. Is there something actually more to it?
I don't even remember this room.
Whoa.
Oh, I do remember this room, yeah, with the, I was going to say
Audio.
gibberish, but it's probably an actual language, so sorry. I shouldn't say it. Like Mandarin, for sure, yeah. Guanxi.
So there was a rumor in this game. There was mentioned that it was a reminiscent to the kill zone area of all the turrets and Portal, right before the final boss area. This room also, I have to admit, this sort of reminds me of that too.
It's not in here. I was wrong.
That's good. It's a bit noisy, so. I think, yeah, going back to sort of animated series, I think my favorite animated sitcom of all time is still Daria. That was a very good series. And they knew when to stop, because they stopped after 65 episodes, so.
See, that's the thing. I can respect a show that, like, knows the story it wants to tell, tells it, and then kind of lets the legacy live on. I understand why they keep going, just because of money, but
Yeah.
Okay, it's this room I got stuck on forever. You'll remember this room.
I don't really.
No,
What's the
this
deal
is
with
just
it?
this is the elevator to the room. You will remember the room.
What, the film?
no, it's not.
Have you seen that film, Shady? I haven't seen the whole thing, but it's pretty good.
I've played the game. What?
Yeah,
this room.
Yeah, the game's not as good as the film.
Wait, there's
I
a
think-
game based around the room?
No, I think
Probably
it's just
not.
called The Room. It's I think it's an Escape the Room thing. It's nothing to do with the film, which didn't have a
Oh,
room
okay.
at all. Have you
yeah,
even
this is
heard of
the-
the film, The Room? Shady?
No.
I remember this room. This is the room where we had all those that really fun discussion about programming languages.
Yeah, we talked about programming.
Yeah, you should look up. Yeah, maybe one of us should post a clip from it in the on the Discord, because yeah, that film was so insane.
It is the quintessential bad movie.
Yeah, I quite like The Disaster Artist. I thought that was quite a funny film, even though it's got Seth Rogen in it. Yeah.
I think James Franco and Seth Rogen just tend to come hand in hand, right?
Yeah, except I think now Seth Rogen's said I was never friends with James Franco, so it's a good way to throw your friend under the bus.
Oh, nice. Guess
Yeah,
I remember hearing something about that.
yeah.
Okay.
I think Seth Rogen's gonna get thrown under the bus himself eventually. He just seems like that sort of person. He'd like do all this appeasement and then he get
Never,
firing line
ever forgive him for Santa Inc.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I forgot about
Inc.
that.
I haven't heard of this one.
Santa Inc.
Yeah.
It just came out like, last year. Did they canceled it or something? Like, it's like
everyone was so upset the
it-
fact they were attacking Christmas,
yeah,
and I
it
think it was
was
more than that.
I mean, it like set a record low by the audience score. It was like 3% on Rotten Tomatoes.
We were
Yeah,
united about something.
that was probably Seth Rogen and Sarah Silverman.
Yep.
They were probably 3% of the audience right there.
Sounds like an
what really brought
underestimate.
America together. Santa Inc. Everyone hated it.
I don't think it's like The Room where it's so bad it's good. I think it's so
Oh,
bad.
I'm reading
it's
the wrong thing.
awful.
Okay.
We've lost it. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong panel.
This is the correct room. I just was reading the wrong thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh. It's back this way?
And I'm surprised. I don't know anyone who watches The Simpsons at this point. I remember 20 years ago, everyone watched The Simpsons. Or, like, there was huge numbers of people at least watching it here in Australia because it was on 6 p.m. every weeknight.
Yeah, I have to admit, I don't really watch TV anymore.
So,
Yeah, I don't know if anyone watches The Simpsons now, but apparently the ratings are still there. I just don't know who these people are. It's like the people who watch Neighbours. They just apparently, allegedly exist.
I think people just have it on in the background as background noise or something.
It's what I used to do in high school. Just come home from school and the same sort of. It was there.
The Simpsons.
6 p.m. every day.
Yeah. I remember.
Okay,
actually
when you
was
take
in,
the elevator down, the door is below the platform that you land on. To the left, if you're looking at the lever on the wall. So to the left, okay, there's the lever on the wall. To the left.
I remember
What
I was
not
watching
this time?
afternoon television in Venice. I may have told the story before, and I turned it on, and they had the Simpsons, and it was great. There were no commercials. It was dubbed into Italian, obviously, but it was an episode I'd seen before, so I knew exactly what was going on, but it was interesting seeing The Simpsons on at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Italian television with no commercials. So obviously
No,
they were
that'd be
like,
nice.
"Oh, this." They're obviously like, "Yeah, this is a children's program. It's like Teletubbies or whatever." So
this is one hidden door.
So
So that's what it is. You explode all the monoliths. So there are 3 of them.
I think
Oh,
I think
interesting.
one of the Teletubbies is dead now. I think it might be Tinky Winky. I think he died.
like the actor or the
The actor, yeah,
no? That's kind of sad.
yeah.
F for Tinky Winky.
I think it was Tinky Winky, or it could have been Dipsy, but I'm pretty sure it was Tinky Winky. But that was a weird show, Teletubbies.
Yeah, I never really got what it was about, to be honest.
I don't think it was about anything. I think it was just supposed to be like... It was sort of like a gateway drug, so children know what it's like to be high without having to do anything illegal.
That's fair.
I mean, you have the whole thing with the baby and the son and the tubby custard, like the munchies, and then the television, the TV screens in their stomachs. It had no resemblance to reality. And then with the Tinky Winky with the handbag. What guy carries a handbag?
I thought that was a European thing.
Probably. Tinky Winky's just European. All right.
Tinky Winky he was all over American news media all the time this was back in the early 2000s for like potential gay connections, and then I remember one in Milwaukee.
He got banned in Poland for that.
Really?
Yeah.
Dear God.
There was a funny sketch where on the show years ago, The Chasers War and Everything, where there was this club in Melbourne where apparently they wouldn't let you in unless you were gay. So they thought, oh, they'll use this as a test to see whether someone whose sexuality has been questioned for a long time, see if they actually are gay. So they thought, so one of them went along dressed as Tinky Winky, and it went to the door, and like the bouncer was like, "Oh no, you can't come in." And then someone else was like, "Oh no, the purple one's gay. He can come in." And then he said, "Thank you." And then all these women there want to give him a hug, and he's there saying, "I don't touch women." The Chaser were good back in the day. I think they kind of sold out a bit now.
Wow.
But they used to be really controversial, but a mainstream outlet would still give them a platform. There's no way anything controversial would be shown on a television station now.
Oh, it's not here.
So...
Okay, we're going back to the Rub Hub.
yeah.
Noise. I don't know. I always remember never liking Teletubbies even as like a toddler. Except I did like the vacuum because the vacuum was always pissed off at him. For some reason I connected with that.
Yeah, I do remember that. Custard is good though, I'll give them that. Have you ever seen Teletubby Shady?
Not really. I know what it is.
Yeah, hopefully you're
and I've seen plenty of
at that point.
Yeah, I mean, I was also too old for Barney, but I saw a lot of that because of my little sister.
Oh, I'm sorry. Although that was, as the kids say, my shit whenever I was sick as a kid. It's like,
Yeah.
Parents throw that on. You can watch me some Barney.
Yeah.
Did Barney die?
The character?
The
Yeah.
actor.
I don't know the lore of Barney the dinosaur. Sorry.
I can't say I've ever thought about Barney after I was like 6 years old, so I can't say.
I remember.
I'm just
Sorry, go on.
imagining him getting I'm just imagining him getting beat up to death by a critical mass of small children.
didn't
reminds me.
millennials
Apparently, it's like Michael J. Fox. Apparently, he got mobbed by a bunch of 10-year-old Japanese girls, and they ended up elbowing Henry Kissinger in the face, which he probably actually deserved. Yeah, I was talking with. I remember some point on a previous stream, I was talking with Tom about Bear in the Big Blue House. That was a good show. Have any of you seen that? Yeah, that was a good one.
This guy just doesn't know English. It's in the udder section.
It's in the udder.
The udder section of the Rub Hub.
Non-English speaker, or he may be from Wisconsin.
Yeah, one or the other. I think he means the upper section of the Red Hub, but it comes out the udder section of the Rub Hub.
Oh yeah, that sounds like my northern brethren. Yep.
True story. You can check GameFAQs and corroborate this.
Wow. GameFAQs.
Man, that's a website I haven't thought about in a hot second.
Okay, so you see how this pedestal is down? So I already did this step. Good.
Okay.
I was surprised to see that I hadn't in the first one. Joey. Okay, Joey jumped down. He's been hanging out with us for a while. And of course he's hanging out by all the wires. So if everything goes out, it's because he pulled the plug.
Okay, it's Joey. We'd forgive him.
Yeah.
Just comes the territory of having cats.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I don't know where mine is. Usually she's sitting on my lap at this point.
Thankfully, my cat's on cables particularly often, though.
Yeah, I haven't gotten that actual issue. It's not an actual issue. I'm just saying he's right by. Well, he's actually on the other side, which means that he's probably. Well, I don't think he'd be physically capable of unplugging my computer, but he might be capable, depending on the setup, how I have it set up, unplugging the internet, which would be just as bad from your perspective. Joey, get out of there. Get out of there. You don't understand English.
Oh, game FAQs. Sorry, I didn't understand what you were talking about.
Oh, were you looking up like facts? Like, yeah.
Yeah. I thought, game FAQs. GameSpot.
Yeah, I don't know. I hear people say GameFAQs. I don't know.
I think it's supposed to be FAQs, but I always call it GameFAQs too.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
It was just so much easier.
Yeah, was found the other section.
I thought that was just gamer lingo that everybody knew it's FAQ, but you just call it GameFAQs.
Yeah. Come on, Moss. Are you even a gamer?
You even game, bro?
Apparently not. I can't find any more errors, unfortunately.
Okay, so I need to go back to the cube and sphere room. They say it's in the tower, which the tower is building 2 of 3. The tower seems to have most of the stuff. What?
The guy who wrote this name is Oi. That explains a lot.
I didn't look. How's it spelled?
O-Y.
Oi.
Oi.
No, wait, that's O-I. Sorry.
Oi. Yeah.
Yeah, this guy should give you everything you need to know to be able to finish the game, including all puzzle solutions, route locations, and all the various secrets in the game. Good luck. Oi.
Made it. Without stepping on a single stair. All right, let's ride the long elevator down. All right.
Yeah, the Rub Hub big in the other section has been thoroughly debunked. And I'm saying that with no political bias. I'm just doing my job as a fact checker who has no degree or anything beyond a middle school education.
Don't you just love the idea of hiring an independent fact checker? Yeah, sure. An independent fact checker that holds our values.
Yeah. That'd be fun, just hiring a communist as a fact checker for us. Just to debunk everything we say.
those I always think of those. I don't know. I don't know. You know those two. What is that meme called with the two guys like pointing behind them or whatever? Yeah, one of them, and the other one is like in the other corner. I don't know.
Yep.
So you know what I'm talking about. You know that meme.
Not really.
You don't know that one? Damn.
No. I'm not up on my memes. I know the Willy Wonka
Like I'm sure
one.
I'm sure I've seen it. Just can't picture it right now.
I
Same
like the
feeling.
meme with the Korean dad. That one's funny. Have you seen that meme? And he's always
Okay, it's called Two Soy Jacks Pointing.
Soy Jack's pointing. Okay.
Oh my God! There's
Is
an
this-
actual picture of two soda. I never knew there were actual guys. I didn't know what that was a drawing of.
Oh yeah, I've probably seen it a few times.
I've never seen the photo. I didn't know what that was from. I mean, it makes sense there would be a photo, but it's just really funny to see a photo
funny.
and recognize the drawing when obviously the origin was in reverse. Okay, that's too funny.
It's pretty good.
I'm so glad I looked that up. All right.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was that originated from a real photo either.
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah, no, your meme is funny. Oh, those are what they're called, soy jacks. All right.
Yeah, that makes sense. I was gonna say they're not all called Wojacks. Yeah, soy jack. I guess that makes sense. Yeah. They're pointing at some yeah, they were.
yeah,
I
it's
didn't.
like
I didn't
Beyond
know
Fried
that, but
Chicken.
yeah. Beyond Fried Chicken. Yeah. Let's see.
Okay.
I'm in the main.
I know, even as a vegetarian, I do find vegans very annoying.
Yeah, there
Actually,
is
I'm not-
quite.
I'm not a
There is
vegan, so-
quite a. There's quite a difference in personality. Yes.
I have to
Yeah.
admit, though, not having to deal with bones definitely adds to the appeal of the
Tim
Beyond
Collins a meme?
Fried Chicken.
What's Italian said it Tifa hentai?
What?
There's also.
I just heard hentai.
Yeah, I did
Yeah,
too.
Tim
just find-
Collins good.
Goodness.
Like, I just find bones so messy and annoying to deal with when I'm eating chicken wings. which
There's
is
also
like-
that guy
Oh, yeah,
who
Bones
like
is
had
good, yeah.
who submitted. It was a joke, but he submitted as like a serious not political campaign, but like a I don't know. It's a video on YouTube, but it was like a formal presentation to some local government about banning the name chicken wings because they don't come from the wing of a chicken or something.
Apparently, someone got access to an Italian Senate Zoom meeting, and so they decided to play a hentai video.
Oh,
played it,
yes, I do remember that story. Yes.
I hadn't heard this one.
Yeah, Yeah, that's what it was. It was boneless wings. I don't know. He disputed the
'cause
whole
it's
name.
like
yeah, yeah, because he's like, this is
breast meat, I
not.
imagine.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
I think just about anyone with half a brain realized that that's what bone swings actually are.
Yeah, like he'd made this like formal. You get 3 minutes to speak in a hearing, and so like he made this whole like formal written speech for 3 minutes about why, boneless chicken wings is an abomination.
Actually, talking about vegans, I thought it was interesting. One of the people on the Lotus Eaters, John, who's very good. The eyes will catch you off guard at first, but he's actually very good. He was talking about how you know, vegans, they're very big on showing
Preach, friend.
videos
preach.
of animals being slaughtered, but they just don't want people to see videos of abortions being performed, which I thought was an interesting point. So
Yeah, it's yeah.
hypocrisy.
Well, it's team sports.
Yeah.
It's team sports without principle. Yes.
You mean like Borscht?
Yeah. It's the same ideology.
Yeah. All right, we got our Borscht mention out of the way. We did have to mention him again for the rest of the stream.
If that's your rule.
Yeah. Outrun. Yeah, they're pointing at vegan chicken.
I'm sorry, I'm reading this. I'm trying to read this one paragraph. What to do next in the game? Hold on.
To argue about.
Speaking of all this chicken, I'm gonna heat up some nuggets. I'll be right back.
I think that's what he says to Colin. Yeah.
Oh, you know it.
I do remember when the pandemic first started, I did stockpile vegan nuggets. And then the Prime Minister came out and said, stop stockpiling. So I stockpiled, what was it, wheat chips instead?
Yeah, we were really worried about it. About meat supplies at stores in our area running out too.
No. It's just I really like the vegan nuggets. I thought that would be a good excuse.
I don't think you need an excuse to stockpile vegan nuggets. Or nuggets in general. I don't discriminate on nuggets.
Yeah.
Except for the Denver nuggets. Not very good.
Yeah. As a vegetarian, I disavow vegans. Or at least the political ones. If you're just doing it as your own thing, it's a bit like, you know, religious zealots and people who have relationships with Jesus. Religious zealots, relationship with Jesus, that's good.
Yes, I'm a firm believer in the idea that freedom of religion does require you to respect the freedom others have from religion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oops. This can't be it. Yeah, more generally, freedom of association and freedom of disassociation are the same thing. But I think that's kind of I think the current conflict is beyond religion at the moment. They're not the ones at the forefront of segregating society.
It's a similar thing. It's just not religion this time around. It's all people speaking from pulpits, really.
What is the Cuban sphere room? There's some cubes. I don't see any spheres.
They're very square spheres, that's for sure.
There's a room here called the... I should know what this is. I never learn. There's a big sphere.
So by straight edge outrun, do you mean complete temperance from alcohol. I don't know if Outrun heard my question.
Okay. I didn't see the spheres, but they're calling it that room I was just in, the other one. The one with the square spheres? Wait, what? There we go.
The sun's gone.
What?
Yeah, your room's gone dark now.
Yeah, it's still light out, but I have the windows down.
Well, the thing is, when you use drinks like wine and cooking, a lot of the times all the alcohol will get boiled out anyway.
Is this a secret door? It is. There's a second one. Okay, the first one was blue, I think. And this one's green. Ta-da!
So I wouldn't worry about it too much.
Alright, that's two.
Yeah. I don't know if you know this, but I'm a non-drinker.
I know this.
Yeah.
Although I'm laying off the drink for now. Maybe next month.
Yeah. Good idea.
Well, I wouldn't call myself an abstinent on principle. I just don't drink a lot because I don't enjoy it that much.
Ah, you're making it sound. Now you bring it up. Don't tempt me. I mean, not you. You didn't make it sound good with that statement, but just you guys talking about alcohol. It's like, yeah, I still got some.
I got
Nope.
some honeycomb milk. I need to have some of that. Oh, it's getting hot now. So hot. Ugh. I think it's not going to be 42 again today. I think it's about 30 today, so that's good.
Yeah, you're gonna confuse Americans with that statement.
I know. That's what's so funny.
I mean, you
Yeah,
didn't
it's not
confuse
gonna
me.
It's not going to be 110. It's going to be, what, 80 or something.
Now it says to go to the end of the game. What's the fastest way to get there? No, it's this
Great
way.
indoors. He's Canadian, isn't he?
No. That's Outrun.
Outruns Canadian. They're both 1979
No,
though, aren't
no,
they?
I'm saying they're the same guy.
All right. Well, the Great Indoors 1979 is who?
Outrun.
All right. You posted a super chat to the Lotus Eaters about 2 years ago, Outrun. I seem to remember them saying the Great Indoors 1979, I think it was.
Okay, so where was the end of the game?
Well, at the end. For the credits.
Yeah, but where?
Wherever Trudeau is.
Is that hard to find, or is it? I mean, 4chan makes that pretty easy. I love the
really do
story.
wonder where he is.
You know the story of 4chan versus Shia LaBeouf, right? That's one of my favorite stories
Yeah,
in
with
of
the
internet
flag.
history. That was amazing.
I actually have never heard of this.
We'll look it up. It's hilarious.
So what's it called again?
Okay, you know Shia LaBeouf?
No.
Indiana Jones' son, yeah.
Yeah, he played Indiana Jones' son. But yeah, I always think of him as a child actor because he was in some Nickelodeon show. Was it Even Stevens? That my sister watched. That show was actually pretty funny. So he was a funny child actor, and then he became an adult and just kind of went crazy.
Could you say that name one more time?
Shia LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf. It's a hard name to spell, but
I just remember hearing the name The Great Indoors being said on Great Indoors 1979 being said by Sargon, or Carl as he likes to call himself. And I thought of you, so yeah, well, I don't know where he gets off expecting people to call him Carl.
who what?
I don't know where Sargon gets off expecting people to call him Carl.
He's tired of going by his gamer name.
It's a bit like Count Dankula said he addressed the European Parliament that they introduced him as Count Dankula, and he felt really embarrassed. Like, no,
When I get to that level of fame,
Regent.
they're gonna still call me shady.
Yeah. Holes.
Oh, yeah,
what's
Holes.
this film about, Sarah?
Oh, I saw
Yeah.
Holes. Holes was a good film.
I don't know what it's about. Is it like golf or something?
No, it's been
Alright.
many years since I saw it, but yeah, that was a good one.
Okay, that was apparently a thing that happened.
I've never even heard of this film. Maybe because I'm not American, and yeah, it just didn't make it over here or something.
I was referring to reading about the troll campaign that 4chan mounted against Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah.
He also did a
There's
thing
4chan
where he was, I don't know, part of his Shia has some weird stories. So there was one time, I don't know, he had a guilt complex about something. I don't even know what the fuck about. But he all of a sudden like put himself in like a phone booth like thing, and he would just sit there with a blank expression, and he wanted to have like a line of people to just come in there, and I don't know, it's like the whole thing was like, I'm sorry. And like he wanted people to go in there and they could say whatever they wanted to him and he wouldn't move, and then they would leave. Or something like that. He set something up. It was really weird.
Sounds like he was desperate for attention.
Yeah.
Maybe he deliberately did that thing he supposedly felt guilty about just so he could apologize for it later and get publicity. It's a bit
Maybe.
like,
I mean, he doesn't seem like the kind of person that needed attention. It seemed like he already had it, but maybe
Yeah.
I guess he didn't know that.
it reminds me of, it was about maybe 5 years ago, there was this Australian television presenter, Carl Stefanovic. I think it was on the Today Show, which is Channel 9's morning show. And then, and apparently at one point he was doing this interview and he used the word tranny. And then the transgender community got really, really upset. And then he ended up apologizing on air. And then he got a gay sort of lesbian, bisexual, transgender celebration award for his apology. It was so stupid.
Tired of people weaponizing their identity.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Outrun. Yeah, Outrun's Dutch. I thought he was Dutch. I didn't think he was Canadian. The Netherlands.
I told
yeah.
you, Ocean Drainer's Canadian.
Yeah. I didn't think Outrun was Canadian. I just thought I saw him make a comment on the Lotus Eaters podcast.
Why would that make him Canadian?
I don't know. I didn't say anything about him being Canadian. Well, maybe I did. I
You
can't
did.
remember.
You did. You absolutely did.
I said, who is Canadian? Who here is Canadian? That's the question I asked. Alright, I don't know. Anyway, Outrun, do you like the Flutter over there? The Flutter's very good. I like the Flutter. The first film in particular is brilliant. Possibly the funniest film I've ever seen. Just a brilliant send-up of society in general. Even though it was Dutch society, it was kind of universal to the West. Yeah. You should watch Flutter Shady. It's very good.
Here it is. That's that pedestal. Wait. What?
I thought it was funny. I think
I
someone
have no idea what's going on right now.
So you have to hit a pedestal and it opens a door. I don't know if you're talking about the game.
Well, yes.
So there are 3. I'm trying to find for that last thing. There are 3 secret doors, and each one's opened by one of those pedestal things. I just hit the 3rd one, so now I need to go find the 3rd room.
I think the funniest comment here would be really funny if Trudeau showed up in Florida. That would just really undermine his policies.
Back to the garden's white room. Can I do that? I thought this makes like a... Oh.
4chan's hilarious.
Ah, here we go.
I've never been on there, but
I haven't either.
It is just funny hearing what comes out of it. I mean, they are like the Pope of humor. Just where like the Pope comes out of his little window. It's a bit like that with 4chan. Everyone's just curious what 4chan's going to say.
That's certainly an analogy.
Yeah. Sorry, Slim Jim. I'm not saying that, 4chan is as holy as His Holiness. I'm just saying that,
If anything, it's
they
the
talk,
opposite.
people listen. Yeah. A bit. But, when they talk, people listen, so...
Achievement completed. The Empire business.
All right. Well, thank you, Sarah.
Oh, stream for 2,000 hours total. I just got that achievement on Twitch.
Oh, wow.
Which has achievements?
Twitch has achievements,
Of course it
yeah.
does. Why am I even asking?
Shady didn't get his tits out once. He's a real hero.
Yeah, they.
Shady is like the Mike Brady of Twitch. He's that wholesome.
I'm pretty sure they have rules against that, or at least they did. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm still waiting for that shady hot tub stream.
This is the RubHub stream.
Yeah. Or you could just label it a hot tub stream and then just never get in the hot tub. Be like,
Yeah.
an establishment in Soho.
That's not just misinformation. That's disinformation.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the Trudeau Fidel Castro thing. That is just hilarious.
I like Alex Jones as Bill Hicks.
Yeah, that is good. I like that one.
So, does Mostab run out of things to say? It's all in the air.
I'm trying to find the 3rd hidden room, and it should be very close.
I still thought it was interesting that conspiracy that you were telling us about, Shady, with the Challenger explosion.
Yeah, did you see that? That weird...
Yeah, that was quite interesting.
Oh, yeah. What was that again? I needed to take note of it for future video.
Yeah, Just look up. I don't know what to make of it. It's so bizarre. But yeah, I don't know. Just some website claims to have documented and tracked the lives of all the. Oh, here it is. Here's the
That's
hidden door. I went to
right.
find.
Okay, yeah, now I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, the Challenger explosion said, here they all are. Here are, well, not all of them. They couldn't find one of them. They're like, we don't know where this guy went, but we know where all the others.
Trudeau.
You mean Trudeau's
In
hiding with him?
Florida.
I think this other guy's been hiding longer.
Yeah, well, he basically called up Trudeau and said, "Oh, you know, if being Prime Minister of Canada ever gets too difficult, you know,
All right,
like
so
they catch on to you or something, yeah, just come hide with me, you know, in Florida."
so I
I've
just
got
did the
the
3
beachside
hidden
house.
rooms. So
Yeah.
do I have 7 things? No, it still looks like 6 over there. Okay, now I go back to the top of the tower. Where is that? It's over here.
Remember the tower rotation.
Does this one rotate? So yeah, tower is building 2. The garden, this one is building 3. This right here. This, you've seen this place? This is the main area of building 3. The garden.
This inside a building.
I just said it's a building. I mean, you saw it was.
It is outdoors though. I don't have to wear a mask.
Are you sure? Who knows what they'll say tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow's the
Ah,
day for me,
wait,
but-
is that? Oh, look at all this stuff.
Does.
I think that even these lines being drawn are new, but yeah, I think I go in here now. Okay.
Yeah, you know who really likes triangles? Pythagoras.
Right triangles.
He likes right triangles. Right.
Has any of you seen the episode of Red Dwarf where they have the Waxdroid War and they have all the best people from humanity and all the worst people? And they have
Yes,
the war?
I remember that episode.
And Pythagoras is there. It's like, what are we going to do? It's like Stanislaus like, I don't know. There's probably an answer, probably involving triangles. Then Einstein's just like, oh, Pythagoras, what is it with the triangles? There are some things in life that can't be solved with triangles.
Yeah, he just gets totally unhinged.
Yeah.
Anyone notice what just happened there?
I heard a
Got an
thing.
achievement, yeah. Achievement. Secret
Yeah,
door.
that's.
Oh, we
Yeah.
got it. So does that just leave the
The heptagon.
secret?
I hope so. Let's go back there and see. I'm not even gonna look at the guide. Let's see if that gives me my 7th thing. It better, because can't be anything else in this game. Need to move on from this.
As long as we get a little Grim Fandango tonight, I'm happy.
I think
Is that
there's
what you
one
wanna
thing we
do?
can be sure of.
I think Moss wanted to do. What did you want to do, Moss?
Day of
Some
the
2D.
Tentacle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is that
I
one
have
of
a
the
couple.
games we needed?
Yeah, Day of the Tentacle, Full Throttle, and Grim Fandango. I have most of the achievements for. Ah, see, now it looks different.
Aha.
I didn't realize you were still missing some achievements for Full Throttle.
I only played through that game once. I only played it on one day.
Right, that makes sense.
All right, here we go. What's here?
All right. Game 1 done, crew. Hopefully.
Another game, which I'm not sure yet, or I'd like to ask if you have all the achievements for, is Manifold Garden.
That's another game I need to go back and get achievements for.
I would honestly like to enjoy seeing more of that.
So here's the thing. I mean, games like that are good with no dialogue. That's the one thing about these games like Grim Fandango and all those adventure games. There's a lot of dialogue in them. If you guys want to talk, you're not going to hear the game, or if you want to hear the game, you can't talk. I mean, if you don't mind talking over the game, like, how do you want to handle that if that's the kind of game you want to play?
Fair.
That's up to you guys. Like, would you rather have it during a sub hangout, or would you rather me play a game like this where you can just do whatever and I do this in the background?
Sarah, you're off mic. What should we do?
I see what you're saying, but I kind of am a bit. Yeah, I prefer to play something different to this sort of game. If that makes sense. I feel
Sure.
like Phantom.
I feel like I should know what this passage is from.
I don't know what this is at all.
I think this is the opening paragraph of the first Twilight novel.
Nice.
Computer. You know, with
So
MacBook
the initial
Pro,
drawings of all the
got,
rooms.
A display running Windows 7 or Vista or whatever.
The tower. Oh yeah, that's the full opening area.
Oh, this is a behind the scenes look. Is it all right?
Yeah.
Another
The
very
witness line.
witness-esque ending.
Or the witness. I mean, speaking of the witness, right there. Well, it's kind of the square at the end point, but whatever.
Big keyhole.
Secret ending. The secret ending is. Secret ending is the final achievement. So here we go.
Let's go.
Yeah, we finally find Trudeau. I'm calling it now.
Oh.
Oh, you kept in the cloud.
BP oil spill. No, it's coffee. What is this?
What a bop. What a bop.
The fact that the voice chat and the stream video are like 5 to 10 seconds after
Yay.
each other is really disconcerting. It disoriented me.
All right. That is my 29th perfect game, which is too bad because 28 is actually a perfect number. So.
I just have to get the next perfect
number
number.
21. Then we can form an equilateral triangle.
No, 28 is a perfect number. The next perfect number is 496. So I got a lot of work to do.
Through the mountain. Secret ending.
Anyway, I
Where
think
have
my
you gone,
cats are
Matthew?
getting hungry, so I'm going to step away for a little bit to feed them.
Well, I'm going to take a break myself for a few minutes.
I was going to take a break, but I guess I have to stay here now.
Yeah,
I guess
well-
I've been drafted.
I would appreciate if somebody, I mean, or if Centennial wants to do a monologue. I don't know. But yeah.
I'm not
that looks
going
like
anywhere. I can't go to a restaurant.
All right. Well, you guys
8:30
jabber
in
on
the
a bit,
morning.
and
The door
I'll
open, yeah.
yeah, I'll
Oh, all right. Matthew has been looking
Oh,
into
thanks,
the
Matthew.
Challenger
Yeah,
astronaut
save
conspiracy
that.
theory. Thank you very much.
I appreciate that.
okay.
What did
Save that.
Snopes debunk it? It's not always spoil sports. Like, no, yeah, everyone's evil except for the good people. Who we
Everyone's
designate.
evil except for George
You might have
Soros.
Yeah, no one's more holy than George Soros. Not even Jesus was as holy as George Soros.
All right. So I'll be
Have you
right
ever,
back.
Have you ever seen someone who's looked as wholesome as George Soros? Like, you know, so youthful.
Have a
and
good night,
beautiful?
Outrun.
Good night, Outrun. Why don't you hop in? It's the chat, Sarah. That's a good one, Shady. Thank you.
that
Yeah,
pretty much
that's-
sums it up, Moss.
Yeah.
So, how about that Liverpool club?
Did you see that ludicrous display last night?
Bollocks. How could he not?
Yeah, come on the chat, Sarah. We want to hear from you. Hear what's happening in your neck of the woods. Down in Georgia, 'cause you know that's where the devil's from. I know it says on his.
I
Wikipedia
heard
page.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Wait, I
went
thought
down
that was
there.
Florida.
No, I
Wait.
think he just went down to Georgia.
Oh, he was on holiday, was he? All right.
Yeah, just a holiday.
I thought that was the reason why Florida was so hot.
No, that's just because it's Florida
Yeah, it sticks out, and then there's hurricanes and things like that.
and meth. Lots
Oh,
of
meth.
meth.
Yeah, I have to go there one day. I do like meth.
uh, as a healthcare professional, I can't recommend that, but you do you, boo.
Yeah, I'm in health as well, but you got to understand what you're fighting.
Yeah,
Got to
that's true.
really get
Yeah.
into the mind of the people who are against you. Of course, I could just watch the ABC, but nah.
No, if you ever do get a chance to go to Florida, though, it's a beautiful state, quite an experience. My
Bit
personal
far
version
from
of
me at the moment, though.
yeah, I think just a tad.
Yeah. Oh, Shady's going up the stairs.
Whoa,
It's amazing. I didn't realize his house was in 3D.
I know it's always looked so flat.
Yeah, it's actually just a set. He's got the stairs and the wall or whatever, and
He
then
green screens like the cool streamers.
yeah. He actually lives in a shack, with a wizard.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I'm trying to see if Joey's still in the photo, or not the photo, but
Yeah,
the
it looks like he's at the base of the
Yeah,
tower.
yeah.
the
There he
base
is.
tower. There he is. Okay, yeah. Oh, where's Joey? Sounds like a lovely twist on a classic.
Yeah, yeah. We know where Joey is. It's Trudeau we're looking for. It would be funny if we somehow found him on this stream.
Where
Come
in the
again?
world
The
is
great
Justin Trudeau?
mystery solved. Yeah. Where's Trudeau?
Real talk though, the Carmen San Diego games, those were legit back in the day.
I like Great Chase Through Time. The other ones that I didn't like quite as much.
I
But
think that
yeah,
was probably my
Great
favorite
Chase
as
Through
well.
Time was good. Yeah. I was hoping they'd make a sequel to that, but I don't think they ever did. I think they made one Carmen San Diego game after that, and it wasn't in the same style, which was a pity because I thought they nailed it. I think
Agreed.
Shady might enjoy that game as well. Um, yeah, that was a lot of fun.
I think it fits the right vibe for the channel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is always GeoGuessr.
Oh, GeoGuessr.
Yeah,
I
we might find
unironically love
Trudeau
that.
that way. Yeah. Yeah.
We can find Trudeau via GeoGuessr.
He's hanging out outside some shack in Peru.
I hope he's having a lovely time farming some alpacas.
Yeah, and then some crazy Englishman turns up and just wants to have a look around the drug cartel's village. So how are you doing there, Sarah?
They're still around at all? She just or,
Think so.
no, not on the list currently. Must have stepped away.
All right. Yeah,
Eh,
Outrun. Yeah, Outrun never answered my question about Flutter. I'm so disappointed.
Ah, shame.
See, I don't really get what the list of users in the Twitch chat, who all that really represents.
Mm.
Like, does that list represent all users currently active, or all users that have ever typed in chat, or what?
I think it's just who's currently active. Wait, am I even listed? Where am I? Can you see yourself? Wait, oh yeah, there's Moss. Okay.
I haven't
There
even
you are,
typed
super
into the
gamer.
chat yet.
What was
Just
that?
knows I'm here. I haven't even typed into the chat yet. It just must know I'm here.
Yeah.
That would be embarrassing if you started watching one of those cleavage streamers you didn't even post. They can still see your name in the list.
I mean, unless you're going with a burner account, they can see who's there.
Yeah.
Too bad it's only voice chat, because I'm definitely rocking some great cleavage right now. I know that's what you're all looking for.
I am too, but it's sort of at a different part.
I have a webcam that I could turn on. I'd have to have one plugged in for all the meetings that I go to during my boot camp.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't say it's particularly high quality though.
Mine isn't either.
Yeah, I'd have to
Pretty much
put some
only
pants on if I wanted to use the webcam. So, no, I'm joking. I'm wearing cargo pants. They're just not particularly stylish. Not very dapper. So can't turn the
yes.
webcam on
I
if I'm
think
not dapper.
have to revert the words. Revoke your dapper card there.
Yeah, least dapper gent.
Least dapper gent. There you go.
Yeah.
Cargo pants. Plain white Nike.
No, I'm wearing
tennis
slippers.
shoes. Oh, slippers.
Oops.
Okay.
I forgot to have the music playing. Oh well.
Yeah,
I'm
that's so
wearing a
good.
tartan shirt, so
I think I'm honestly one of the people who dresses up the most fancy for a lot of the meetings where cameras are used for my boot camp. Like I put on slacks and a polo shirt, while most everyone else is just putting on tees and a pair of jeans.
slacks. I've never quite figured that out.
So I am back. So I don't need this screen.
Yeah, hello, Shady.
Hello, Shady. Hello, Moss.
We're trying to figure out what slacks are.
Oh, they're like
Oh,
black
yeah, I
dress
don't know.
pants,
dress
like
pants. Yeah.
formal or
Yeah,
semi-formal
it's a
pants.
good, that's a good debate. So, what do you guys want to see next? So, did we decide? Did we reach a consensus? I know Moss's opinion. I think Centennial was there as well. I wasn't trying to change his mind. I just presented the argument about talking over the game, or the game talking over you, or whatever you want to do.
Which I tried to pin on Sarah, then Sarah left.
Oh,
if we do
okay.
get to more games with heavier dialogue, I'm fine talking over them, because we've kind of already completed them. We're just going through the motions. But up next,
That's fine
I'm
with me. I mean, I'm achievement
whatever
hunting,
Moss
not necessarily trying to play through the whole game. Even though my save games in some of these might be rather sparse, so I might have to play through a lot of it. I should be looking up there, but it's kind of hard to look at the camera and
I'll probably try to
pretend that's a person.
Game dialogue.
It's weird.
Yeah, don't talk to the camera, Shady. That's unnerving.
Yeah, just a bit.
I'm cool with Day of the Tentacle, or whatever you wanted, Moss.
Yeah.
Oh, stop, Shade.
Stop it!
Ugh. Stop.
You actually made me avert my eyes because of how awkward that was.
Where's the report button for creepy behavior?
That's why we prefer Joey. He never looks into the camera.
Well, I mean, open real wide. I mean, I don't have to do that. I can just do this. Like, is that also strange just to do this and just kind of say, what do you guys want to do? Hello, welcome to my show.
Camera
I'm okay with that.
isn't bad. It's just staring at it.
Is anyone else sweating at the moment?
No, it's a pretty cold day here. So
And it's pretty cold where I am too.
Yeah, we're not all in fancy summer like the Australians.
And people like Bao, he's in summer too, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Was he down in Sao Paulo or something? I just know he's in
Yeah.
Brazil.
Oh, there's Joey. Heading up the stairs.
Yeah, according to the local weather website, it's about freezing where I am.
All right. So, yeah, there he is. Um,
There he is. He's going up the stairs.